Hello, Patent Effect Fellows. Welcome again from our podcast session. I am together with Jessica Ocampos from Cambridge, from United Kingdom. Hello, Jessica. How are you?
Hello, Mustafa. That is a real pleasure. Very, very well here in Cambridge.
After 3 years or 4 years, I don't remember. Three, maybe more than 3 years. We met in UK.
Yes, so I think, yeah, probably something like that, 2016, 17. It was our first interaction.
Exactly. So, Jessica Ocampos is the director and founder of Cam Nexus, that we will discuss about what is this company. So, she is one of the entrepreneur, and also she works with University of Cambridge as a consultant for international outreach program of Cambridge Enterprise. Am I right, Jessica?
Exactly. So, yeah, I,
Exactly.
I,
So
I
let's
started
let's
this. Yeah.
discuss about yourself. So Jessica, express yourself to our audience. Who is Jessica Ocampos?
Well, I am Chilean, first of all. So I come all the
Yeah.
way from South America. I've been in Europe since 2008. And after working for some years, I would say mm 2004 to 2011, was working in the industry, particularly in manufacture and oil and gas industry, research and development.
Hmm.
I started a PhD at the University of Cambridge 2011, and after finishing my PhD, in chemical engineering, I started a company, which is CamNexus. In CamNexus, it is founded by two directors, both of us a PhD of the University of Cambridge in engineering and economics. And
Hmm.
we are working to helping particularly our clients, which are in developing countries, to manage efficiently their key assets or resources. Particularly, I am talking about providing wireless connectivity infrastructure and real-time visualization for remote monitoring of water or other key assets. So it is an Internet of Things company. And
Hmm. Hmm.
secondly, very important part of our company and strategy has been through consultancy. So we started exploring and understanding the innovation landscape of different countries where we have been working together with Cambridge Enterprise. Because one of the key issues when we're talking about technology transfer has to do with the adoption capability in all these countries. And sometimes it's really, which can be a challenge, particularly from the supply of the side of the technology development.
That's great. So you are an entrepreneur. At that point, I would like to ask that is the Cam Nexus is a part of Cambridge Enterprise? Is there any equity sharing or independent?
No, we are independent. However,
Hmm.
so kind of a bit of a background. Um, as a PhD graduate from the University of Cambridge, and as it happens with all the alumni of the university, if we start our if we start our entrepreneurial journey,
Hmm.
we can do it through our own research or other ideas. And if it is not touching the intellectual property of the university, this will be categorized as a startup. So we are in a startup of the University of Cambridge. And the intellectual property right of the university states that if you are a student of the university, and there's no a previous agreement or something that is um, taking talking about the IP, the protection of your intellectual property during your PhD studies,
Hmm.
for example, this company or this new IP belongs to the student, and that
Hmm.
is the reason why it's not considered a spin-off.
Hmm.
However, if you're working in IP that belongs to the university, then this new enterprise would be categorized as an spin-off by the university. So in this case, our company as a startup, because it's founded by two members or alumni of the university, we have other benefits and other way to interact with the university, but not necessarily they will take equity from us.
Oh, you're right. That's a good information. So, Jessica, as you remember, 3 or 4 years ago, we were together in Cambridge Enterprise because of the international outreach program organized by the UK Fund, UK Prosperity Fund, and the Science and Innovation Network in Turkey to for a capacity building of Turkish technology transfer offices. So in that period, I really admired the technology transfer ecosystem, entrepreneurship ecosystem in Cambridge. The soul of the technology development in that city, it's really admiring. So can we talk about the real innovation ecosystem in UK and in the Cambridge? Can you express the whole landscape in UK and Cambridge?
Yes. So, well, as I said a bit, and a bit of the story behind. So when I came here to Cambridge, as I said, I came mainly to do my PhD. So I have to be very honest. I didn't know that I would discover this amazing innovation ecosystem. So
Yes.
in 2011, when I got accepted here at Cambridge, I came from after having working for almost 4 years in between Germany and France, and Cambridge was an obvious option as an academic perspective. So I look at Cambridge as one of the best universities, but I never thought of the rest of the ecosystem. So
Mm.
I have to say that that was something that I discovered when I was here, and because of the my background, professional background, working in Latin America and in Europe as in tech transfer, that is how I got engaged with Cambridge Enterprise, as we as they were working, as you mentioned, the international outreach program, in which, as part of their mission, kind of a mandate from the university, is to support other governments or universities, particularly universities abroad, that are looking to foster the research into impact in the society. So basically, how to be able to to use the knowledge created at the university to economic um, growth, development, social and cultural um, growth of the country. So
Hmm.
in that way, Cambridge Enterprise has developed this work, and I am working with them as a consultant since 2015. So in the process of working with them in a very flexible approach, is I've learned also a lot more about how Cambridge and the UK works in the area of the innovation. So something to keep in mind. The each of the, as you know, as some of you know, each of the regions or countries, they are defined. You can identify an, a national innovation system, no, and
Hmm.
and the national innovation system are they have different organizations and different roles and institutions that help to promote the innovation at the country level. And the UK, the last, I would say 2017, it's been a change in how this structure, how the innovation ecosystem or innovation national system is structured. So one of the key things has to do with how you combine the research councils with the innovation agencies, for example.
Hmm.
So today, and some of you may know, there are 7 research councils in the UK. These
Hmm.
research councils are the ones that support the funding of the research activity at the national level. And since this restructure of the innovation landscape, we put at the same level now the innovation agency, which is Innovate UK,
Hmm.
which normally is the one that is focusing not just in the research from in the investment or funding to the academic research bodies, but also to companies. So the corporate, the small, medium, micro, and corporate, and that together with the Research England. So these are all part now of a larger umbrella, which is the UK Research and Innovation, UKRI. So I am telling this because it's important to understand a bit of the concept behind this. And now the whole distribution of the whole strategy of innovation is has changed a bit in that, and there's a kind of a white paper which it's driving the industrial strategies of the country, which also impact on the funding priorities at the research level and the innovation level.
Yes.
So that is kind of a bit of the background from the UK side. Now,
So the technology
mm,
transfer offices are one of the main actors in that ecosystem, right?
so at the level of the university, if we go to the university levels, I would say that the one of the key so normally you will have the research offices on one side, and then the technology transfer offices on the other side, which were driven also by previous innovation policies in the UK.
Hmm.
So on that area, the tech transfer offices and the tech transfer activities has mainly been to support the output, how the output of the research can
Hmm.
actually be transferred to, the outer walls of the university. So how we can put this in services to the wider community, society, economy. And the at least, for example, in Cambridge, so going to the Cambridge case, so Cambridge has a tech transfer office. Actually, I would say that the University of Cambridge doesn't like to call themselves as the University Tech Transfer Office.
Hmm.
So it is an entity at the university that supports the university staff and academics to take the research developed and to help them to commercialize that and impact in the society. So I would say that is the kind of way. So it's not just a tech transfer office.
Hmm.
And the technology transfer office here in Cambridge has about, if I remember, 12 years. And the tech transfer office is an independent company. So it's a company, actually. It has as an
Hmm.
incorporated as a company, but is 100% owned by the university. So through this entity, the university can commercialize the intellectual property from the university.
So in that
Yeah.
point, so please continue, Jessica.
So the tech transfer office has a really important. So if we saw the concept, the general concept in different, because that is kind of the standard name that we use internationally, no, the tech transfer office. So
Yes.
that's really easy for us to compare with other countries. So the key role that they are having and each of the each I want to highlight that and stress that each university and each country will have their own strategy and policy around how they set this to make sense with the mission of the university. So I would say that something really important is how the mission of the university and how the understanding of innovation and entrepreneurship is aligned with the definition of the tech transfer office. So that is not something that can be just copied from other place. So, having in mind what the university wants and what are the key strengths and challenges, you can have your own definition of how what you do with this. So, particularly here in Cambridge, the tech transfer office, if we keep the name, so it's called Cambridge Enterprise. It has three main areas. So has what we could call the tech transfer office activity. So they look after the IP generated at the university, the protection of that IP, and looking for the different strategies to commercialize it, and particularly in licensing.
Mhm.
Then the second is related to the consultancy. So the university provides through Cambridge Enterprise a back office that supports academics to um, do consultancy by
Mhm.
to external entities. And the third relates to the seed fund. And the seed fund activity is when one of the strategies to commercialize your IP could be through the creation of companies. And when you're using the IP generated and then protected by the university, you're talking of the spin off. So the seed fund can help the innovators, which are university members, to support the path, since the ideation to the creation and then development of an spin-off. And they have a portfolio of companies. The seed funds also help. Well, normally they prioritize on IP that is protected by the university, but it doesn't mean that it can also help startups, because as long as they are university members as students, they can
Mhm.
also do it. And the fourth and final, which is not, let's say, is not part of the, let's say, internally of Cambridge Enterprise, but they are partnering together, has to do with the venture capital, and that is through Cambridge Innovation Capital. So that can help to the follow-on funding and to continue with the investment to a higher level of the companies that eventually could be companies coming from the same portfolio of seed funds, or could be other companies that are not necessarily part of the portfolio of the seed fund of the university, but are related to Cambridge. So that is kind of the whole picture of it.
That's great. That's great. On that, it was the same that I remember. So
Mm.
I would like to ask some of what is the main success factor? What do you think about the main success factors in the technology transfer offices? I know in Cambridge, University of Cambridge, there are so many researchers that awarded by with the Nobel prizes, and you have so many funding opportunities, and the quality of the researchers are really high. You have a huge patent portfolio to try commercialize. So in Cambridge, you have a very good investor ecosystem, and also the R&D companies are really high quality. So but in the other countries, let's say in Chile, in Argentina, Brazil,
Mhm.
Poland, Turkey,
Mhm.
like these countries, what are the main success factors for the technology transfer offices? What do you think about it, as an ecosystem or particular quality of the researchers, funding opportunities? What do you think?
Well, it is a difficult question, as you know, and a very multi variable question. I would say
Yes.
that one of the so yeah, I've been, as you know, I've been fortunate to witness and explore a bit of the different landscapes from a
Yes.
practitioner point of view. So, at different of some other probably experts. In my case, I've been as an engineer and a researcher. I've been working in developing new technologies and in so in really know how to develop what we have to do in order to commercialize that. And I've been doing this in different countries. So my
Mm.
expertise comes from a very practitioner point of view. And
Mhm.
so on that side, I could say that one of the aspects um, has to do with well, there are different things, and they're very important things to keep in mind. I could say that if we're talking in the area of innovation based on science, no, so we're talking of how we can create or how we can um, yes how we can create an ecosystem in the concept of ecosystem innovation ecosystem based on the research that can be created by some of their entities internally, which
Mhm.
so coming from that side, I would say that yes, research, the stock of knowledge is really important. So the places where we have seen is, a kind of a strength in the innovation on that side has to do because there was an important stock of knowledge. So what I mean with this is that you have universities or research centers or that have been working through many years in developing a fundamental research. So I would say that that is really important. So if we don't have to oversee this, it's really important to have that. So at least in the case of Cambridge, we're talking of a, a deep scientific institution, which, as you said, it is based on. So a lot of the success, would say, based on the innovation, comes from this fundamental research. Fundamental research that was not necessarily driven by a clear application. It was curiosity driven research. But however,
Mhm.
because of the high quality of that, it's of high impact at the end. So, and that is something that we will see in different regions at a different level. Of course, we have to contextualize. We are talking of universities that are that different level depending on their capability. So we cannot compare everything towards like the, let's say, the top 5 or 10 universities in the world. But these are kind of some really relevant features. And the other thing has to do with how the universities understand their role in their society. So I would say that again, the mission, so having a strong leadership has been also a key driver to position I'm again talking of university or yeah, university-based ecosystems. The
Hmm.
leadership of someone that has taken the lead internally at the university, normally at the higher level, talking of vice chancellor or equivalent, is normally a key driver for the change. So
Exactly.
that person normally position the university in a direction, and also it has the influence in a policy perspective too. So I think we need to we cannot underestimate the influence that the universities can do in the local innovation policy, and that is the role that normally this leader have in the position of the university, and how they're creating and positioning themselves as a successful ecosystem. And finally, I would say three key areas has to do with the flexibility at the structural level. So normally, the places where we see successful stories are also related to the student force. So
Mhm.
students are critical. There's these grassroots initiatives that are supported by the organizations. Normally, are the kind of driving force that, combined with the top-down approach, maybe from this leadership, generate the richness that can impact beyond the university, but actually creates a community. So we've seen that in different countries. So and it's not easy because you have to compatibilize two different strategies from
Exactly.
the top
Yes.
down to the bottom up. But at least here in Cambridge, I could say that it's a very bottom up environment. It's very Darwinian. We things appeared, they grow, develop, and maybe if there's something better appeared, it will kind of devoured and then disappeared. So we keep seeing new initiatives, and that is, I think, one of the key um, features that, and we see that in other places as well. So I would say that in
Exactly.
that area, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. The keyword that I captured from your explanation, the leadership is the key for driving the local ecosystem in the university to foster the innovation through both the researchers and the students. I take this keyword, the leadership. I like it. So, as the policy perspective. As you know, Jessica, the Turkish technology transfer offices are funded by the government for, let's say, 5 years or 6 years. So the government always asking the numbers.
Yes.
So what are the patent numbers, grant numbers, the university industry collaboration, project numbers, budget numbers, licensing income numbers, spin-off numbers and numbers. But I think we should talk also the another impact factors. Let's say how we change the people life in our local and national ecosystem. And of course, the making money is very important, but we need to think about the other impact factors. So, in that point, what do you think about the impact
Hmm.
factors?
That's a really good question, and actually, it combine a bit with the multifactorial problem that we were talking earlier. Because I just mentioned kind of the three keys that key factors that I think are relevant looking for internally, as if you are in the university, or if you are in an organization that is developing um, potentially technology or knowledge for transfer, no? But of course, and that is really important, we don't have to forget the policy, the incentives, and the capital availability. Because, as I said earlier, the stock of fundamental research or knowledge is critical, and that stock normally is a public dependent. It depends on the public money. So who normally is willing to to fund for years and years of science and fundamental research normally comes from the government, and that is something that we need to keep. And but when we go into this in what we normally call this innovation policy, so as you know, innovation and knowledge and research, so they are different things, no? So knowledge is part of what could be the innovation pipeline. Yes. So and but to really have to be categorized as innovation, you need to accomplish
Mhm.
different additional things, no? So
Mhm.
one of the key things are related to the implementation. So how we make this new knowledge and new or research available and proactively working in that is implemented and that is generating some value either in the society or in the economy. And that is
Mhm.
why now, and I think now more than ever, we have to work in that line. It's not just a question of metrics of like quantitative metrics in which we say how many companies we have incorporated, of how many patents we were filing, you know. So the the real questions now, and I think that is something that's been in discussion, and actually here it's really clearly seen as well in the way that the universities are funded, had to do with impact. So what do we mean with impact? So impact not just as we cannot, of course, we can say that through a patent, eventually we can have some something, no? but the patents are just a means to something.
Yes.
So the we need to change to a second the second level of this discussion, which is what are we actually doing with the knowledge created at a research level or university. The as you know, in the REF, which is the research excellence framework in the UK, how
Yeah.
which funded the universities since 2014, it has been included an impact as a factor to the criteria to assess universities, and with that they obtain their fund. In 2014, it was 20% of the total was the uh, impact,
Mhm.
and so that means that universities had to demonstrate through um, different evidence, particularly cases, of how the researchers were doing impact with their research. Of course, it is not easy to measure impact. It can go in a variety of ways, but they propose different areas, like, for example, educational, cultural change, or healthcare, and so on. So today, more of the as a policy perspective, and that, and also internally at the university, we need to help the researchers to see beyond just the quantitative measures, and actually to understand what they can deliver or how they can create changes that can be of benefit to the society, and that can
Exactly.
be beyond a company. beyond
Mhm.
a patent. And I think that this is something that we are seeing, and I stress this a lot because today we are facing so dramatic challenges globally, and
Mhm.
they really the society today really need more evidence-based decisions, and the evidence needs to come from the high quality research, and that is what I think we really need to stress more into that.
Exactly, exactly. Instead of the numbers, we need to talk about the impact, impact, impact in this changing global environment.
Yes, and I think there are several frameworks that we can use today. So I don't know if you're familiar, for example, with the SDGs, the UN Sustainable Development Goals.
Yes.
So, for example, there are 17 goals, and each of the goals have specific measures and that we can follow. So, if we can connect the research with the impact, we can actually have a clear framework and a clear way to measure if we want to measure, because we need somehow to at the end of the day the money and the resources are limited,
Mhm.
so we need to prioritize on that. However, I think this could be a good example for governments to help on creating some framework that put the impact as a priority, without of course forgetting that we need, and particularly the emerging countries, the low income or middle income countries, we need to keep investing in education and excellent research, fundamental
Mhm.
research. But now we have more clear needs and clear way to see how we're impacting in poverty, health, water, sanitation, etc. They're very good reference for all of us.
Exactly. So that's a good point that you mentioned sustainable development goals. So we can also indicate the link and the explanation of these metrics in the podcast description. So
Yes,
Jessica, it is almost 40 minutes. So it's
long.
totally goes over. Yeah. So thank you so much, Jessica. It was a lovely conversation with you after 3 or 4 years that we met in Cambridge. So, is there any plan to come to Turkey?
I am. I don't have now, but I'm really looking forward to come again. It's been a very good visit there. I am. Yeah. So if there's an opportunity, I will be really happy to go.
I think we should create an opportunity for you for a next visit to Istanbul or other
Great.
cities.
Thanks so much. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, we should think about the new project proposals. Huh? What do you think?
Yes, we need to think on that. And well, we are here, as I say, in Cambridge. We are always looking forward to collaborations. So that's how I hope that through this podcast we can have also more people interested. And we are always looking for this partnership for more innovation, local capability, and hopefully sustainable development on that area.
Okay, thank you, Jessica, for your contribution on our podcast. Let me close the session.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jessica. So, friends, this is the end of our podcast session. You can, the listen our podcast, Patent Effect Podcast, via Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Google Podcasts. And also, don't forget to follow us on our Twitter account and LinkedIn account. And see you on next episode. Bye bye.